Hope Logan had always believed in second chances. After years of emotional chaos, broken vows, and endless triangle wars between the Spencers and Forresters, she craved something stable, something clean. With the younger generation spiraling into scandal and secrets will and Luna's twisted mess, Elektra's manipulations, and the endless tension threatening to crack every alliance, Hope took a different path. She turned toward Carter. Carter Walton had been a constant in a world of shifting loyalties. He had scars, yes, but he offered peace, predictability, and above all, no ties to the constant chaos between the Forresters and Spencers. For Hope, that meant everything. Their relationship moved quickly, and the announcement of their wedding caught everyone off guard. But Hope didn't care. She wasn't looking for fanfare, she wanted sanctuary. She wanted to rewrite the Logan legacy not through scandal, but through strength. And so, the wedding wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. It was her line in the sand. The Logans rallied behind her. Brooke stood proud, eager to see her daughter step into a new era of calm and dignity. Even Donna and Keishitha, tangled in their own family dramas, found solace in the idea that one of them, finally, might get it right. As the guest list built and the venue was chosen, the tone was clear. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a reset. But peace in Los Angeles is always temporary. Because while Hope prepared for her vows, the younger generation was coming undone. Will Spencer, Luna, and Elektra were caught in a boiling storm of betrayal and buried secrets. Luna, once the town's mystery, had become its controversy. Her past, her pregnancy, and her uncertain ties to both Remy and Will had dragged every name associated with her into the spotlight. Elektra, quick to sense opportunity, played both sides, feeding Luna's insecurities while cozying up to Will, helping to secure her own place at the Spencer table. Will, torn between what he wanted and what he was told to believe, spiraled into impulsive choices, playing right into the chaos Elektra engineered. Then came the crash. A sequence of orchestrated accidents, wrong texts, private messages leaked, carefully timed sighting store into the relationships between Luna and Will, between Elektra and her so-called allies, and sent Remy reeling. Trust shattered overnight. What seemed like coincidence felt calculated. Someone was pulling strings, and that someone wasn't acting alone. Still, amid the wreckage, the Logan wedding loomed. Hope kept her distance from the younger scandals, choosing instead to stay focused on what mattered to her, building a future with Carter. They exchanged rings in an intimate ceremony at the Forrester estate, with the Logans seated front and center. Brooke wept. Rich, invited but aloof, sat in the back, silently observing. The press were kept at bay. No drama, no surprises, until Liam arrived, uninvited. He walked in mid-vow, a man with nothing left to lose and everything to prove. Hope froze. Carter's face went still. Brooke rose to stop Liam, but he spoke fast, eyes locked on Hope, voice edged with fury and desperation. In his hand, a USB drive. On it, he claimed, was proof clear, damning evidence that the person responsible for the chain reaction of romantic implosions wasn't Luna or Elektra. It was someone much closer, someone trusted, someone in the room. The air shifted. Guests whispered. Cameras stopped clicking. Liam played the footage. Security footage from a private resort. Audio logs from phone calls Elektra never knew were being recorded. A financial transaction trace. The pieces came together to form a chilling narrative. Someone had been manipulating all parties, sowing discord through fake messages, edited photos, and misleading information. The motive, power, position, control, and at the center of it all, Carter Walton. The room exploded. Hope stared at Carter, stunned. The man she trusted, the man she just promised her life to, wasn't the neutral peacekeeper she thought. He had orchestrated key moments in Elektra and Luna's social meltdown. But that wasn't the worst of it. Liam had more. A file. Legal, cold, clinical. A medical record of. Few remembered Daphne, a paralegal who had once worked at Forrester Creations. A fleeting character in the larger saga, barely a blip on the radar. But what the documents revealed forced everyone to remember. Daphne had been pregnant. The father, Carter Walton. And according to Liam's evidence, Carter had not only denied responsibility, had pressured her into terminating the pregnancy, citing his career, reputation, and the inconvenience of a child. Messages, voice recordings, witnesses. It was all there. Hope stepped back from Carter. Her hand dropped from his. Her eyes hardened. Carter tried to explain. Said it wasn't like that. Said things were more complicated. But no one was listening anymore. The wedding was over, not with shouts, but with silence. Katie stood and walked out first. Then Brooke. Rich followed, tight-lipped and visibly rattled. The Logans scattered. Hope stayed behind for a moment longer, staring at the man she almost tied her name to. Realizing the truth, Carter had built a mask of serenity over a core of ambition and cowardice. And she had almost joined her legacy to his. Liam didn't gloat. He didn't say "I told you so." He had done what he came to do. The fallout would speak for itself. In the days that followed, Carter's reputation collapsed. Forrester Creations distanced itself. The press devoured the story. Daphne, once silenced, gave an exclusive interview. Hope disappeared from the public eye. Her honeymoon became a solo trip to the mountains. A time to heal, to regroup. But the damage wasn't limited to Carter. The revelations connected back to the tangled mess of the younger generation. Carter's manipulations hadn't just broken hearts. They had destabilized alliances, planted seeds of doubt, and triggered the events that led to Luna's isolation, Elektra's betrayal, and Will's spiral. Every relationship, every betrayal, could be traced back to a chain of influence Carter had set in motion. The town reeled. The Forresters blamed the Spencers. The Spencers blamed each other. The Logans tried to hold the line. But in the wreckage of Hope's ruined wedding and Carter's exposed sins, one truth remained: nothing in Los Angeles stays buried. Not secrets, not lies, not love, and certainly not the cost of silence. Because even peace comes with a price, and someone, eventually, always pays it. The bold and the beautiful. Secrets unleashed, loyalties shattered. Will Spencer had never been one to chase ghosts until the moment he realized the biggest ghost of all was very much alive. Luna. The name itself had become a whispered myth in the back rooms of the Forrester estate and the boardrooms of Spencer Publications. For years, everyone believed she had vanished, presumed dead. But Will, driven by a gut instinct and emboldened by the silence that surrounded her disappearance, dug deeper. And what he found shattered the polished veneer of both the Forrester and Spencer families. Luna was alive. The revelation didn't come with tears of relief or sweet reunions. It came with questions. Where had she been? Why had she hidden? And most importantly, what had she done? Will didn't confront her immediately. Instead, he took his findings to Bill and Katie. Once adversaries turned uneasy allies, Bill and Katie understood one thing. This wasn't just about a missing girl. This was about power, betrayal, and the future of their family. If Luna was alive, then every secret buried with her was about to claw its way to the surface. Bill, ever the strategist, devised a trap. Katie, with her media savvy and emotional intelligence, made sure it was foolproof. Together, they created a situation so carefully crafted it left Luna no choice but to step out of the shadows. She was lured in, exposed not just to the Spencers, but to the entire town. But what the Spencers didn't account for was Lee. Fiercely loyal to her family's name and ruthlessly protective of their image, Lee wasn't about to let a scandal of this magnitude unfold without striking back. She had buried secrets before. She wasn't afraid to do it again. Luna's reappearance was, to Lee, an act of betrayal so profound it demanded punishment. To preserve the honor of the family, she was ready to do whatever it took, even if it meant silencing Luna for good. Yet Luna wasn't defenseless. She had an alibi. Or so she claimed. His name was Remy. Remy, a quiet presence in Luna's chaotic life, had always been just outside the frame. Now he was center stage. Luna clung to him as the one person who could vouch for her, prove that she hadn't disappeared to deceive, but to survive. But the more Luna leaned on Remy, the more the public began to question, was he her protector or her accomplice? The courtroom erupted with emotion and scrutiny. The hearing wasn't just legal, it was personal. The central question, did Luna leave of her own will, or was she forced into silence? Was she a victim of circumstances, or a master manipulator? The town of Los Angeles watched as the Spencer and Forrester dynasties tore into each other in front of the judge. Reg and Steffi, livid at being blindsided, fired back with everything they had. The Forresters claimed Luna's reappearance was a ploy, a calculated move to destabilize the family's power and reputation. The Spencers, on the other hand, argued that Luna had been a pawn in the Forresters' hands for too long and that the truth finally had to come out, no matter how ugly. But then came the curveball no one expected. Will dropped a bombshell. He suggested that the child Luna carried, one she claimed was the product of a past the Forresters wanted to bury, might not be a Spencer at all. In fact, it might be Remy's. The implications shattered the courtroom's fragile balance. Suddenly, Luna's credibility was on life support. Was she using the child as leverage? Was the baby even Will's responsibility, or had Luna fabricated the connection to manipulate the Spencers into protecting her? Luna's world began to unravel. Every whisper about her motives, every side glance in the courtroom, every moment of hesitation from Remuel of it cast doubt. Yet Luna didn't waver. She stood her ground, insisting that everything she'd done, every choice she'd made, was to survive. Not for power, not for revenge, but to stay alive in a world that had forgotten her. Still, her reappearance ignited something far greater than any of them expected. The town turned into a powder keg. Allegiances shattered. Long-standing friendships cracked. Steffi Forrester, always composed and calculated, began to spiral. For years, she'd built her life around the idea of control. Luna's return appended all of it. Secrets that Steffi thought were buried, things she'd sworn would never come to light, were now front and center. The fear that Luna might drag the entire Forrester empire down with her pushed Steffi to the edge. Then she ran. Steffi, once the iron-willed leader of Forrester Creations, vanished overnight. No messages, no explanations, just silence. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the Forrester camp. Was it guilt, fear, or something darker? As the town searched for Steffi, attention shifted back to Luna. Now more than ever, she was either the flame lighting a path to justice or the match burning everything to the ground. Meanwhile, Remy became more central than even he anticipated. The quiet man who had once been Luna's refuge now stood at a crossroads. If the child was his, it meant Luna had lied to Will. If it wasn't, then he was complicit in a deception that could cost him everything. Remy had never asked for the spotlight, but now it bore down on him with ruthless intensity. The hearing reached a fever pitch when a voice recording surfaced, an off-the-record conversation between Lee and a mysterious third party. In it, Lee admitted she knew Luna was alive long before the truth came out. She confessed to orchestrating parts of Luna's exile, all in the name of preserving family honor. The courtroom went silent as the tape played. Lee's face didn't flinch. She stood by her actions. "I did what had to be done," she said. "For us. For all of you." The judge, struggling to maintain order in a room full of legacy, lies, and blood ties, called for recess. But the damage was done. The town was split. Half rallied behind Luna, seeing her as the scapegoat of a corrupt dynasty. The other half believed she was manipulating the system to rewrite history on her terms. In the days that followed, whispers turned into headlines. Luna became the most polarizing figure in Los Angeles. Protests formed outside Forrester Creations. Sales plummeted. The family's once unshakable brand was in freefall. Rich scrambled to control the damage. Brooke tried to smooth things over, but even she knew the tide had turned. Meanwhile, Katie saw an opportunity. With Steffi gone, Lee disgraced, and Luna on the rise, The Spencers could reclaim control not just of their family legacy, but of the entire town's narrative. She pushed Bill to act. They offered Luna protection, media rehabilitation, and financial backing in exchange for loyalty. Luna, exhausted and alone, considered the offer. But she wasn't done yet. In a final twist, Luna revealed she had more than just survival stories and emotional appeals. She had proof. Hard evidence of a cover-up that went far beyond her disappearance. Documents, videos, bank records, all of it pointing to a coordinated effort by key Forrester insiders to erase her. If she released them, the Forrester name would be finished. But Luna didn't want destruction. She wanted vindication. And so she made a choice. She agreed to testify on last time. Not to expose or destroy, but to finally speak her truth, unfiltered, uncensored, and undeniable. The courtroom filled to capacity. Cameras rolled. The whole town tuned in. Luna stood, took the oath, and told everything. From the moment she disappeared, to the reasons why. The manipulations, the threats, the fear, the silence, the love she clung to, the lies she told, the child she carried, and the painful, irreparable truth of what had been done to her and what she'd done in return. By the end, no one was untouched. The judge called a recess, eyes wet, voice trembling. The town didn't speak for hours after the broadcast. There were no sides left in the wreckage. And still, somewhere in that quiet, a new chapter began. The bold and the beautiful had changed forever. And Luna, victim, survivor, truth teller, was no longer a ghost. She was the storm.
Oh.